All right, we'll move on to the next club.
Oh my god! Scared the hell out of me.
Is that someone playing the Imperial March on a kazoo, Lemons? That's kind of what it sounds like. Coming.
Yeah, have you got a sick goose in there?
All right. So got Darth here, and next team he holds all the answers. What do we got here? The West Coast Eagles. Bit doom and gloom as far as the West Coast Eagles are concerned this year. A lot of people putting them down further on the ladder than they probably have been for a few years. Obviously, a bit of a dirty off-season with regard to injuries. The Jack Darling situation as it stands, he's not back on board, and from all reports is unlikely to come back to the club in any capacity. It's different for West Coast fans. Like, the prognosis is miserable, and that's kind of an unusual situation for them. I think they'll embrace it. I think they'll enjoy for once being kind of the underdog and being able to take that label and run with it. Backs against the wall type, situation. Adam Simpson will certainly enjoy playing off that with the players. But I think the main question with West Coast to me is, can they be so bad at home that they finish as low as they probably should? Like, their list on paper to me is bottom 6, maybe even bottom 4. But they're going to have to lose a lot of home games to finish that low. That's why they kind of very rarely have finished in the bottom 4 over their existence. So that's the question for me. I'm not sure. I think they're going to be a low-ranked team this year, but they somehow may be able to just scrounge out, 8 wins at home, and that keeps them further away from the bottom. What do you think?
I mean, Freo have managed to finish pretty low on the ladder playing over in Perth, so I it's obviously possible. They're very bad on, as in their whole team, really, especially when you factor in Yo and Shuey and that. I mean, people, I forgot about this, but Brad Shepherd has retired.
Retired.
That happened months ago, and that was kicked off this. That was just the start of this awful off season. So, I'm not quite sure what they can do to be a good team, because what area of the ground are they really strong in? Okay, yes, they have Nick Natanui and Tim Kelly, who are really good players in the midfield, but then with the amount of injuries, I don't think that we can seriously sit here and say that Yo and Shuey are locked in to play even 15 games or 12 games. How can we sit here and say that? Andrew Gaff, Gaff is very good at what he does, which is playing as an outside player on a really good team. He's great at that. I don't think that he's moving the needle for a team that is a bad team, though. He needs somebody to wing him the ball, and then he will go and use it. What else is there in the midfield, really? Jack Redden. I mean, Dom Sheed's now going to be out for 3 or 4 months as well. There's just going to be a real lack of experience in the middle. As we said, Jack Darling's missing in that forward line now. There's still some stars in there. Liam Ryan is obviously one of the best players in the AFL still.
Yep. He needs a big year, doesn't he?
They're going to need him.
Goals plus.
They're going to need him to be just about the best forward in the competition. And there's no doubt he's got that ability. But after that, it's JJK, who is really cooked, to be honest. I'm surprised that he's going around again. Willie Rioli, who knows what he's going to come back and look like. And then you've just got the guys like Jamie Cripps and players like that who are role players.
Well, Cripps is out for 10
Cripps
weeks
is
or something
injured as well. So, and then Oscar Allen, I suppose, who had a really good start to last season and had enormous raps on him, but didn't really go on with it. And I think there's still a bit of a question about certainly they want him to play as a forward in the future, and I think that will eventually be his position. But is he ready to do that full-time, number one, take Jack Darling's position, basically? I'm not sure if that's the case. And then in defence, Jeremy McGovern has been, again, much like Yo and Shuey, can we rely on McGovern to play 15 games again? No, not really. And then after that, it's really Tom Barras and a bunch of other guys, like a bunch of just ordinary players, like good ordinary players, So
yeah, the back
you
line
look
is
across
the back line is the main concern for me because it looks weak. They don't have very many good players, and that was my sort of main concern with the Dogs last year. But outside, I mean, Barras is a good fullback. He's he's reliable, does the job. McGovern is obviously he has been one of the stars of the competition, but he hasn't been that really for probably 3 years now.
Well, he's just always injured. Like, he can't stay on the field.
Unfit.
And even when he doesn't play, when he does play, he's not.
He's almost become, you look at social media and stuff afterward, McGovern has almost become a whipping boy for West Coast fans, which is a huge fall from grace. So, yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of the list, and I think that they're going to really struggle to contain teams with strong forward lines this year. I think that they're probably entering short rebuild time, West Coast. Like, it's not going to be a long period down the bottom like some clubs have, but I think they're going to be... I think I wouldn't be surprised if after a few weeks, guys like Cripps is injured, but I don't know if Cripps will get back in. I don't know if Jack Redden will get back in. I don't know if Jackson Nelson, maybe even McGovern, Hearn, some of the guys who are guns of the club but who are a little bit older now, whether they start to say, all right, we are taking this year off and we're going to regenerate, get some games into kids, get a good draft pick, and then try and rebound again next year. Not for premiership contention, but I think that this is probably going to be a big year of transition for West Coast like we probably haven't seen probably since 2009.
I think they're going to be bad. They're going to be really bad. I don't know if players are going to rest, but yeah, there could be some. The other thing was last year we saw a real lack of heart in a few performances, like that you don't really ever see from West Coast teams. And I mean, if that pervades their club again, then it could be really ugly this season. So yeah, I've got them. I don't know if I've got them bottom 4 because there's 4 pretty bad clubs at the bottom, but they'd be on the cusp of that, I think.
Yeah, I think I've probably got them bottom 4. I think they'll still win. To be honest, I think looking through it, the evenness of the competition and the way that's worked out, particularly come to play in the last 2 or 3 seasons, I don't think we're going to see teams winning 2 games anymore. I think we're going to see the bottom 4 teams winning kind of like 4 to 6 games, more and more. So I think they could easily, do that, win 6 or 7 games and then still be low.
So you think Hawthorn North and the Crows, and then the Eagles in the bottom 4?
I think Crows, Hawthorn, West Coast, and then I think, what else did you say? North and Collingwood.
No, I just said North.
Oh, I think North and Collingwood, either of those teams could dodge the bottom 4 if they have a,
I think West Coast is better than Collingwood, to be honest. But anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think that there's a good chance that they'll literally start rebuilding the team after a month and then...
Yeah, I get it. But I just think...
All right. Speaking of rebuilding...